Daddy craft here. Let me ask you a question. Let's say that I wanted to animate these characters right here, these two gentlemen, make them move around and act and get involved in animation. Craftman, you already know the answer to that. Just move the character, take a picture. Move the character, take a picture, etc. That was my glove. Hold up though, I didn't get to finish the question. Let's say we want to make the characters move around to music.
That is correct.
Craftman, you basically mean you want the characters to dance. That's an even simpler way to describe it. But the dance movements need to match up with the music.
Try again.
Synchronization needs to be precise, correct? I mean, if I just come out here and try to play back the sound, it would be very difficult to just sit here with a stopwatch and play, pause, and say, okay, the beat kicks in right around here, then another beat kicks in right around. Look, that's just not accurate enough. We need to break it down to the frame. F-R-A-M-E. A frame is the smallest unit of time in an animation, and 24 frames makes up 1 second. Hold up, Craftman. What about 30 frames per second, actually 29.97 NTSC, where really 60 interlay frames when you get... We just sticking with the motion picture standard right now, all right? 24 frames per second. So, take a picture. Move your character, your object, whatever, a little bit. Take another picture. Move a little bit. Take another picture. But you ain't got to do it every frame. In fact, major motion picture studio, they will shoot on twos. What does that mean? That means you move your character and take 2 frames. Move your character. Take 2 more pictures. This instantaneously does a couple of things. Number one, it really emphasizes a stop motion look. But a big thing it does is it cuts your work in half. So instead of 24 basically frames per second, you animate them to 12 frames per second. What? Come on, Craft. We know that, Craftman. You said we finna learn how to be in sync with music. Alright, here it is. If you want your character animation to be lined up with music, with dialogue, talking, and bonus alert, this tool can be printed out. What? Oh, alright, watch this transition right here. So, and then cover it and then go, just like that. This right here is called a dope sheet, aka exposure sheet, aka X sheet, sometimes called. This might look like a boring, Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, but this right here, this exposure sheet, let me tell you about this. An exposure sheet is not only useful, but if you have a character that is talking, dancing, basically doing anything with movements that need to happen at a specific time, then the exposure sheet is essential. Every one of these rows represents 1 frame. So that's a frame, that's a frame, that's a frame. And we already know that 24 of these is 1 second. Typically, you will see each 24 frame broken up into 3 sections of 8 frames. This column right here is where you write down a second at a time what the character is saying on each frame. Traditionally, these columns right here would represent different cell layers, alright? And a cell is a transparent piece of celluloid that can be painted on. Think of it like layers in Photoshop. But look, let's not get complicated. The way Craftsman uses these is to basically have each column represent a different character or element in the animation. But Craftsman, how in the world do I even know what frame numbers a sound happens on? Oh, that's easy, don't you worry. Just bring your auto clip into basically any video editing software, audio software pretty much, and then just scrub along. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, test. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, test. Can you hear me? Craftsman out here talking about lip sync, and y'all want to know about music sync. And we got these two characters right here with no dance moves. For music, I do the same approach that I do for my dialogue. Some animators would argue that you probably need to do your music using a bar sheet or something like that, but I just always do it on the exposure sheet. You know, it has worked for me so far. Look at that handwriting, Craftsman. Anyway, that's what I came up with. I put my bass drum, aka kick drum, aka boom, cat, and cymbal. That's the bass drum, the snare drum, and the cymbal. Now look, I don't know if I ever really seen it done this way. I'm just showing you that you can get creative with your exposure sheets here, alright? I just went scrubbed it frame by frame, and so where does everything line up, alright? And look at her. What's this curvature? That's when the cymbal goes tss, tss, tss. Tss. I forgot one of them. It just gives me a kind of an arc to follow for movement. You could do this kind of thing basically however that you want to. So now I can come out here to my shop with no listening to no music, not looking at no video reference, nothing, and just use that right there and get some animation going. Hold up, Craftsman. I don't want to fill out an Excel spreadsheet before I can animate. I'm ready to just animate. Well, one way or another, you still need to do some type of planning if you want your animation to turn out and sync like you want it to. But there is an easier way than this right here. So let me just watch this right there. One thing you can do is to use a reference video. I took my sound and scrubbed through it and simply just placed text down wherever there's a key instrument beat. So right here at the beginning, I put a bass kick drum. I just put boom. Then snare drum right here. And we put cat, cat, cat. That's a snare drum. I also did a little 3, 2, 1 text right there. That's every time the cymbal crashes. That's just to let Craftsman know visually, hey, it's coming up to the part where you're supposed to cut to another character. Alright. Video files can be loaded into DragonFrame and used as a reference side by side, or you can do it as an overlay, and it's synchronized frame by frame with the frames of your animation. And you can use literally any video reference that you like. So since Craftman can no longer do the Charleston or any dance pretty much, I found me some reference videos. And because I was only giving myself less than a week to do the whole animation, I decided we need to do some looping as much as we can. So that right there is exactly how Craftman did this video. It wasn't any kind of, magic. It's pretty rough in places. I admit it's very poppy and jerky here and there. And, I could do it better. But, yes, that's one way to do it.
That is right. That is correct. Try again.
Craftman, what is that thing you've been using to make your character jump and do things, get off the ground, get their feet up? This right here is called a winder, W-I-N-D-E-R. This was very greatly given to me by Kinetic Armatures, and I'm just so very thankful to have this. And I'm already working on a video that's just all about this, so stay tuned for that. Can't wait to talk about this very handy little animation device right there. By the way, anybody who might be having some wonders about this figure right there, highly articulated, look at this right here is from Knights of the Synth, based on the Knights of the Slice figure designed by Tar Pizza. When we did that video about the Glios toys, do y'all remember? Tar Pizza sent me that as a thank you. Also, Onell Design, the inventor of the Glios system. Also, this one right there, look. All these accessories, look at that. I have links in the description to these toy makers where you can get these if you're interested. And you can find exposure sheets widely available online for free download. I will have these little ones here available on Patreon as well as storyboard. I also have a template. And let me just say something. You really don't even need all the fancy tools. You don't even need software. If you got a camera, a little cheap DSLR, and a shutter release, you can come up with ways that you can physically measure and do precise animation, even without software, without onion skinning, without rotoscoping or overlay any of that. Just do with what you got the best you can with what you got with what. This 8.5 by 11 is pretty small, that makes these little rows small. You got to write T-nice and Craftman preferential is to print on 11 by 17 paper. And so that's going to make it way better if you can do that. For real. Thank you for staying with me for this long. I love y'all and keep on steady crafting. All right. Well, Craftman even put a logo on here trying to be professional. Look at that right there. Yes, tall. Yeah. It's tall. Like that right there. Yup. So, let me just watch this right there. That was not very good. I meant to do a little bit different. I really like these for animation. It's just fun to play with them, Awesome. All right. That's it. Yeah, that's right.